Hey, hello, welcome to the second edition of the program, Say No to Inferiority Complex. If today is the first time of seeing me, my name is Sunday Adeniro. I would encourage you to listen to the first edition of this program where I started with the introduction to inferiority complex. Today I'll be talking about the causes of inferiority complex. Up next we'll be looking at the signs of inferiority complex, and then we'll be talking about the dangers of inferiority complex, and finally I'll be talking to you about overcoming inferiority complex. Alright, because of our time, let us just go straight up to the business of the day. What are the causes of inferiority complex? Number one cause of inferiority complex, at least from my experience, is economic challenge or poverty. This is very important that you note this, that many of the people that go through this thing called inferiority complex actually came from a background that is not really so well to do. You know, they have this impression that because I came from a poor family, a poor background, then I don't have anything to say for my world to hear. That's not true. You see, we've seen many people that came from a very poor, a very humble beginning. They have this humble beginning and they are able to actually become so great in life. So for the fact that you came from a very poor background, from a very humble background, does not mean that you should just keep quiet. There is a lot that your word can gain from you. You know, I learned this from Gideon in the Bible. The Lord was communicating to him that it is time for you to go out there and deliver the Israelites from the Midianites. Guess what Gideon said? Oh, my family is the least in the tribe, and I'm actually even the last born in that family. So how can someone like me? Remember in my first episode, I keep mentioning a statement that it is not someone like me they are talking about. That is a statement of people that think they are inferior. They feel that they are less worth to whatever thing people think about. You don't want to put yourself in that situation. So Gideon was like of the opinion that because I came from this kind of background, I shouldn't be the kind of person that should save the Israelites. But the Lord kept talking to him that go in this might of yours and just go and do exploits. I don't know if there are many Gideons I'm talking to right now. You've just concluded that because I came from this background, it's not somebody like me they are talking about. You need to just silence that thought and that opinion, that mindset, and go out there and get it done. The second reason I realized that people experience this inferiority complex is because of their upbringing. This is very important. There are many victims of inferiority complex that were trained in a very wrong way. Some of them were trained by parents, especially in the African settings. I'm sorry to say this. There are many parents in the African home that will prefer to just silence that morale in their child in the name of disciplining that child. I'm not saying we shouldn't, correct our kids, but I'm saying that there are things we do that goes beyond just disciplining that child. We are actually killing the inherent gifts, the ability to express themselves in that child, in those children. So you really need to look into that. I know many of us are trained in that way, and we've suffered the implication of that, and you don't want to communicate that same thing to your kids. There are some parents that tell their kids, keep quiet, keep short. You see, when others are talking, you keep quiet. Have you had parents talking to their kids that way? They tell them that you're just good for nothing. Look at your mate, look at that boy doing that thing. All you know is just to hit. You are just nothing. And all of these words are registering something in the heart of those kids. These are part of the causes of inferiority complex. Can I even say this to any parent that care to listen? There are times that you just want to listen to the opinion of your kids, not because you don't know what to do. You just want to allow them express themselves. And there are some situations that really do not, they are not so, it's not so bad if you allow his opinion to just, if you decide to do what his opinion is. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? For instance, you just got a new flower vase, for instance, and instead of you to just put the flower vase probably beside the television, you want to ask the child, James, where do we think we should put this flower vase? And the child is saying, maybe we should put it on the table. Probably because he had seen some people putting flower vase on the table. And he's saying, we should put it on the table. And you ask him, why should we put this flower vase on the table? And listen to what James will tell you. Probably James is saying things like, I like the color of the table. It matches with the color of the flower vase. Do you see that wonderful expression? That's a very thing you need to really appreciate him for. Wow, that's good. You can even tell him, well, I never even thought of that. That's the same color with the table. But then you want to explain to him that, but don't you think that this is too big for the table? He may not be thinking about that. Probably he's just concerned about the color. But you as a parent, you know better. And you're saying, this thing is too big for the table. Now, when you say that, it will help the child to now think, oh, that's true. If we put this big object on the table, it will mess up the shape of everything. And he says, oh, that's true. Maybe we should put it by the side of the television. That's the child now suggesting that. Eventually, it now meet up with what you already want to do. Do you see that? But you are able to have his opinion heard. You are able to allow him express himself. See, all these little things has a way of making the child to be so expressive. He can go out there when they are deciding things in his class and he can say, this is what I think we should do. But if a child have always been told to keep quiet, when others are talking, you don't talk that way. That child will go out there when his colleagues are deciding things, he just keep quiet. These are part of the causes of inferiority complex. Number 3 thing I've noticed is those kids that have been sexually abused or physically abused. There are parents that always beat their children all the time just for a little error committed. You don't just want to give a room for mistakes and correction. Everything is, the child should be scolded with huge wipes all the time. I mean, you don't want to do this. You don't want to continue with these just for a little provocation. Because all of these things have different effects on that child. What about those that have been sexually abused? May I even speak to those of you that are victim of that, for the fact that your dad, your mom usually use whip on you when you are young, and because of that, you always fidget when they are coming, you always shiver when they are coming. That doesn't mean that you should allow that to kill that God-given inherent gift inside of you. Go ahead and get that thing done. Go ahead and achieve that thing. Leave those things behind. Apostle Paul will say, I forget the things behind, then I press on. You want to press on, right? For the fact that you've been sexually abused, I know it can be so emotionally disturbing, but then you want to press on. There are many people that have gone through the same and they have been able to just stand out today, and we can hear their voice right now. So why can't you just be that kind of person that is able to overcome that, and then you are able to also help others that are victim of either emotional or sexual abuse eventually? You see what I mean? So it is important that you do not allow this, even it can be the major cause for inferiority complex. You don't want to allow that to keep wearing that. Don't worry, I will come back to that point where I will start talking about how to overcome inferiority complex later. But for now, I'm just talking about the causes of inferiority complex. The 4th cause I've seen that can be responsible for inferiority complex is societal standard. There are society that are able to create this opinion that you must be this and this before you can talk. You can't just go out there and just hear your opinion when you don't have this kind of look, you don't have full beards, you don't have this, you don't drive this kind of car, you don't have this type of shoe, you don't have this, some even paint a picture that you must be living in some part of the land. For instance, you're living in Lagos, those that stays in maybe on the highland, all those kind of societal view. You don't want them to actually deter you from going out there to get that thing done, right? So there are societal standards that have contributed to, and these are reasons why many people put up fake life, because of what the society think about those that should be able to speak up in the society. The 5th thing that is responsible for this inferiority complex can be physical impediment, the inability to talk clearly, the shape of the body. Maybe you couldn't walk straight in a straight way, or whatever thing that happened to you physically. Maybe your physical look, you have a deformity in your face, Some people even think that an albino shouldn't go out there and just express himself because of his look. I mean, all of those things are just shouldn't actually stop you from being expressive. When I was looking at this point, the first person that came to mind was Moses. Moses, in Exodus chapter 3, the Lord was speaking to him. You are going out there to deliver the Israelites from Pharaoh. And guess what was Moses' first complaint? He said, I'm a stammerer. And the Lord is saying that, you see, I'm actually the one that make the mouth. I can fix this thing up for you. And God was able to fix that up. It took Aaron to just assist him. So I don't know if I'm also speaking to many Moses right now, that you're thinking that, well, I'm not that eloquent. How will people listen to me? You see, I have this facial impediment. Whatever thing that could be your reason from your physical look, they shouldn't affect you from going out there and getting that thing done. One of the person that came to mind, of course, is still alive now, is Pastor Nick. Many of you will know Pastor Nick. He has no hands, he has no legs, but this great man of God is so influential and is a powerful role model for many of us. So for the fact that you are having that issue does not stop you from going out there and getting that thing done. And the final one I'll be talking about today can be because of mental or psychological disorder. Probably you just have this, you don't have any of these things I've mentioned to be the cause of your depression, your anxiety, your fear. There are people like that. They just have it inherent in them. Probably they grew up with it. They just get so afraid. They have this tendency to forget when you put the light on them, like you just want to show them up. They have this thing in them that just make them so uncomfortable. You may want to speak up. You may want to speak out to a therapist or a psychologist to help you. And why not? Maybe when you listen to the whole of this program, you can actually get cured from that thing too. So once again, these are the causes of inferiority complex that I decided to talk about. And the reason why I put up this is because maybe you are part of those that are contributing, to breeding more victims of inferiority complex. I haven't seen some of these causes you can just change, especially for parents. And probably if you are a victim of any of these, you can always know that this is where this inferiority complex thing started from, and why not? I can always overcome it. Thank you once again for being part of this. Please do not miss any of the next editions where I'll be talking about the signs of inferiority complex. Thank you once again for being part of this, right? So till we shall be meeting again next week, I commit it to God's hand. Thank you and bye-bye.